We today often think that the deal buying New York by the Dutch 1626 for some glass beads worth of $24 was a bad deal. And so a lot of people now are arguing against this and just don't like it. But maybe the history is never as simple as it looks on the first place. First of all, indigenous people back then had no idea of owning land. The land was there for everybody and to use, to settle there. And if a neighboring tribe came too close, they had a small battle, a raid, and then the original inhabitants moved away or maybe to the other direction and had a battle with the other tribe. So for hunting grounds, whatever, living space. It's not as today with our small square meter designs of houses. This was not the case back then. And they even had no idea of land ownership. So land was for everybody. Then the Dutch came and offered some glass beads. You think this is a bad deal, but maybe in this time the deal was not as bad as it looks from today. Yeah, glass beads. In the former times, before the glass beads, the people used shells, quahog shells, to cut off and to take the violet part and the white part and make some wampum shells, similar to this here in glass and mother of pearl, from the size, and tubular beads to wave long belts to simply tell stories and to make contracts. These contracts were there as remembering these contracts as we normally sign them today. So back then they did it different. And so these wampum shells were also trade items like money. And when you think of that, you just have sandstone and a drill from flintstone and nothing else, it's a pretty time-consuming task. So maybe the people thought up, glass beads? That's not the worst deal. Because we now think this is just glass beads, junk. But back then the people thought of, hey, how much time does it save to me as this trade item beads, wampum beads? So I just can trade them off from something I simply can move away and take the next part of land to maybe use them by myself, these glass beads, or trade them away. So it's saving these little trades saved the people a lot of time. Then, in the time before the Dutch came, the people used obsidian knives or flintstone knives. This is a really nice one. Actually, most of the items did not look as nice as this one, because this is something to put in a glass box and that's it. They were much simpler because what you need is a sharp edge and a sharp corner, and you don't need them looking as beautiful as this one. So, and the worst thing is on these items is when they fall down, they break, and because they're it's the material that breaks very easy, and it's getting dull very fast when you use it. So you had to reshape and to remade knives. That's why I say the original knives used back then were not as beautiful as this one, because they just needed a sharp corner, a sharp edge. And when this became dull, what's becoming very fast, I tried this to scrap a hide with a flesher made from flintstone, and believe me, this was not a cool option. I tried it. Yeah, So then these guys, the Dutch guys, came and brought some knives that can fall down and they don't break, and they are sharp and easy to get sharpened again. So it saves again a lot of time. And these items give also good trade items for the neighboring tribes. So, And before the Dutch came, people used something like this here. What is this? It's a bladder. It's a bladder to take water from a river, for example. It works, but you have to heat it up to cook a soup, for example. You have to take pottery, whatever, to use this to make your water hot. And then the Dutch came and brought something like this. Kettles. May sound strange, but it's way easier to handle. So it's saving a lot of lifetime and gives a good trade item for the next for the next tribe around. So, and the point is, when these guys would not do the trade with the Dutch against that little bit piece of land, what would the Dutch do? They simply would go to a neighboring tribe and would offer them the same deal. The thing is, with all these items here that give good things to trade again to other tribes and helps a lot from in the own living space, there also weapons came, and in former times before the Dutch came, the people, when some better sources came and they were get some trouble with the neighboring tribe and they lost the battle, then they simply would move on. So, but when you get these cool trade items an easy way, and when you can get weapons an easy way, so you're better protected, can you better protect yourself against the neighboring tribes, and you can trade with them and make some better living of this. So, and when you don't trade these land to the Dutch, what would happen? They would move on and would ask your neighboring tribe, and you would get problems. So, to see it in this way is maybe a different one than simply to think of, this cheap glass beads, and look what's New York today, and how much a square meter New York costs today, and to think of that this glass bead trade was a bad deal. For the people back then, it was maybe not so bad as we want to see it today. It's maybe another direction to look for history and another perspective. That's maybe also a good thing to look at the second side of a historical event. So maybe when you liked the video, please click on the like button or leave a comment. That would be very nice from you, or just simply press the bell for getting some other content from me. Goodbye.